Alright, we are in Timeless. Let's do this. So, we're still running the same deck from the previous video. I've made very few adjustments so far. First opponent here is Grayson Hall. There has been a significant change to the meta that you'll see in this video, which might prompt us to actually change, because people are now experimenting. People have kind of stepped away from Blue X at the moment and gone into an experimental phase. Our opponent plays Giver of Runes, so with the Blood Crypt now we can drop a 5/5 Carvo on turn 2. This is Death and Taxes or Hammer Time. I've seen a Hammer Time variant, but I believe this to be Death and Taxes with the Camel there. I respect anyone playing Baldur's Gate cards, and I respect anyone trying anything new. So let's get another land here untapped. I want to cast it to Fairy, and I'm going to bounce the Giver. In response, they'll give protection from red to Kimmit. We won't attack here because we're going to save time. Opponent does have a Skyclave Apparition, which does kill our Teferi, which is a little unfortunate. But we do have something interesting, so we're going to express Federation here. We'll put Euro into hand and then put that in the grave. What we're going to plan to do here is, on attack, we will Leyline Binding, flash it in. Unless they have an instant speed way to save the Apprentice here, we're just going to get the Apprentice off the board, get a 2/2 and chump with Kemet. Kemet is a great late game card. I've showed him in previous videos what he can do. We draw a fetch land the minute the Avon Sensor comes down, so we'll exile that and deploy a Carvu and crack a Woodland, because Avon does have flash, remember, so they could hold that up. Perhaps that should have been the play before, but in their defense we hadn't used a fetch land yet. They're still on 3 here and they're looking at our mana base. They're looking to see if they could shrink the Carvu significantly. Fortunately, we're set up here. We have 2 Nivs in hand, so we'll see what they do. Giver comes down. Second Giver comes down. Good our turn. We've got 5 mana, so we'll play down with Mizzet. Solid hit. We get removal. We go swing in with the Carvu here. We'll exile the graveyard. They could be running Extraction Specialist. Oh, excuse me. Sneeze. Right, we're going to bring in a board wipe here, and we'll go down one of the Teferis because they're not really an instant speed deck. They do have flash creatures that could get us, but we're only running 5 fetch lands so far, so we'll see where things go from here. This hand is... we get free freeze. I'm going to risk it. We are up a game. Esper Sentinel comes down. That's fine with us. We'll play the Jetmir's Garden because if we shock in a Stomping Ground, we get a 4/4 instead. But now with the Overgrown Tomb, it's the same, so we'll shock that in, play a Carvu for a 4/4. See what our opponent does here. They swords the Carvu. It's fine with us, we're still on 21 here. We'll play another land. Now we have a 5/5, so we'll deploy another Carvu. They flash in an Archivist, very good hit. The Inquisitor Captain, very good one again. Their board is running away with it here. So, looking at my board, what I'm going to do, we're going to throw down a Triumph tapped. We're going to go to combat, see if they want to attack. They don't, so what we'll do then, we'll drop an arrow, gain some life, get another land on the field. Drawing a Helix here is great for us. They throw down a Giver and a Skyclave, which gets rid of our Carvu. This now puts us in a badish position. Right, we can shock in here and play... They have 1 card left in hand, so I'm contemplating whether or not to thin out their board before the Giver is done, which I do. So I choose to pay for the Esper Sentinel, keep their resources down, and I'm Vanishing Verse the Aspirant so it doesn't pump their creatures anymore. We take another hit down to 8. Find another land, so let's reload.
Reload!
We hit 2 removals and a voice. Pretty solid right now. Pretty good state to be in. We'll deploy another voice for another blocker. They have a swords. 6 life though is great here. It plumps basically the whole attack. They go for the swing in here. We'll go for the trade with the Skyclave because it will give us another token if it dies. They have their third source. Right, we are set pretty well here. So, we have to bait out a Giver of Runes activation here. Opponent flashed in Reborn Mind Sensor, that's fine, they don't have a Ghost Quarter or any effect like that, so we'll just keep that going. They swing in, hold back Giver. So start with a Vanishing Verse targeting Skyclave. They give it protection, so we will then Helix their free, gaining life. We'll take the hit. They play an Anointed Peacekeeper here. And they name a Vanishing Verse, which I find suspicious because I'm like, how did they know that I had that? So I'm gonna first of all pump out the Teferi, bounce Teferi. I'm gonna put the Reborn Mind Sensor back in the hand, play a land, crack here, get a basic. They do gain a life and draw a card. So in response, while they are tapped out, we're just gonna pour out Uro here. We filled up our graveyard. Gains its life, draws us a card. We draw a board wipe, which is fantastic for us. Let's see if they go for the attack here. They do fully swing out, so we will block the free, and they concede. I guess they were struggling there. Right, so second match here against Milk Manny, and this is where we run into one of the new tier 0 decks. Well, I think this deck is tier 0. This is basically Zoo deck. But as opposed to old school Zoo decks, these decks are basically running true 5 colors because they're running black to run Orcish Bowmasters. Because I think you have to run Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, the format is getting pretty sick here. Right, while Nicottle is on the field, so if they can get a Plains, and they have a fetch land, so they have the ability to do that. They'll get yep, they're up to a 2/2. They play a Karvu, they're up to a 3/3. So with the current board state here, I'm going to play another tap land, and then I'll play a Death Right, and I'm going to trade that for a chump block here. They get their Triumph, so they now have fully powered creatures. They have a Tribal Flames, which is 5 more damage, so we go down 8 here. Also, bit awkward, I don't have black, so without black, I can't. Oh, I do get black here. So I can play black, pass back, see what our opponent does. They have another Wild Nicottle. Go to combat. I'm gonna let them exile a card, then I'll Leyline Binding their Karvu. Go down to 7. Shock in. Second Tribal Flames puts us down to 2. We don't have double black for removal, so we can't kill both the creatures here. So, yep, this one is just over. I was tempted to use an Assassin's Trophy there to do a basic land check. Because a deck like this, which requires Dominion to basically fully function, is pretty good. Teferi has no place in this deck really, so we take him out, well, most of him out, and add in Clophis. But we'll say, and this is the biggest thing that grinds my gears, and it's going to come up in the third match, but I'll save it for a point. So we have the play here. We have a Voice, an Assassin removal, and Dig, so we can keep this. So let's crack a Wooded, get a Triumph. Looking at the lands, we yes need red, white, and blue. They respond with their own Triumph. So we could chuck in here, get a Voice of Resurgence on the field. It is a double chump or double removal spell because I'm pretty sure they're not running Exile in their main deck. But as you can see, they have 4 lands or 4 land types already, like we do. Yep, so they also have Lightning Bolt in the deck, of course, I forgot about that. With that in mind then, we will just deploy a Teferi, plus him up, swing in for 1. I'm playing Teferi as Tribal Flame as bait here, hoping they go for... Nope, they just have another Teferi and the Orcish Bowmasters to snipe on board. Plus Teferi, Express Iteration, put Niv to hand, exile and Deathrite. Play a Deathrite as a blocker, play another land tapped. Our opponent has another lightning bolt, so that was 3 lightning bolts in a row, which I was already tilted at this point, so I was getting more tilted as we went on. They have Orcish Bowmaster swing in, put Teferi down to 1, I'm okay with that. We will plus Teferi, crack the Bloodstained Mire. We're going to get a basic to preserve our life here, and we'll blow out a Niv. Reload! Because the chances of them, and we draw a full 7 off Niv, which is absolutely crazy, so I'm going to discard here. This is Walker Choice Uro. And begin anew and Express Iteration. The reason for that is I'm not going to board wipe with a 6/6 and 2 5/5s on the field. We can hold back here. We have a 2-turn clock if they don't answer it, but they do have a Leyline Binding. They play another land, crack it. Bring in the Plains. They have a Carvu of their own. They hit Teferi again. Right, onto our turn. Play a land. We will drown in the lock, kill the Carvu. Play crack Windswept, get another basic. Again, we're just preserving life. And then we'll go double Carvu here. So we put 10 power on the board, pretty much got them dead to rights. Forces them to play defensive. They have another Leyline Binding to take out our Carvu. They swing in here. I'm going to trade with Orcish unless they have big protection here. They do have Gaia's Might, so the Orcish Bowmaster survives. Well, I'm going to shock in here, and then I'm going to play Uro because I have plenty of cards in my graveyard. So I'm going to gain life, draw a card. Yeah, you can ping me for 1 opponent, I don't care. I'm going to pass back. See what they do. I'm going to Vanishing Verse the get my Niv back, but they have a reprieve here, so they also have counter magic. It's good to know for the future. So instead I'll just get rid of the Orcish Bowmasters here, and they concede, because I don't know. Now, this is where I'm going to have a little rant about the final gameplay here for match 3. And this is where I'm going to have another rant about best of 1 design philosophy. Why the swear word does green enchantment removal suddenly start exiling stuff? And I know the exact reason. It's because Wizards design went, we've got to build for best of 1, so everything has to answer everything. We can't have resolved good creatures that can stay around. The Pharaoh's Gods, yeah, we've got to give best of 1 results to answer those. I mean, if we don't do that, then, I mean, come on. We can't have dead cards in the main board of a best of 1 game. Little rant over. So yes, you can imagine what's about to happen here. I'm about to play Clothis, and Clothis isn't going to get Leyline Binded. She's going to get Teared Asunder, which is a green-ass removal spell with a kicker cost that exiles. Now there is nothing about that design that should exile. If the kicker was white, I would give it to them. But the fact that they literally are like, we've got to put every answer in every colour to give everyone a result for everything. I think it has slowed down recently with more of the recent sets like Eldraine and Lost Caverns. Like, I haven't noticed it as much, but I swear, I really do swear. Oh yes, they also have Stubborn Denial. I forgot about that counter. Right, so we are down. Our opponent has a 5/5 that is probably going to stomp us really quickly, so I'm going to play a Clothis to try and stabilize, gain some life, because Vanishing Verse doesn't really do well against this Zoo deck. Well, particularly the Carvu. We need to look at ways to deal with Zoo, because Zoo and aggro decks are starting to have a rise now. People are starting to figure it out. See what our opponent discards. They discard them on the cattle, so we can gain life off that. So I'm going to block here. See what our opponent does. Yes, see, tear asunder, exiles, just for a green and a white, for no reason. And if you green and black kick it, you can exile anything. Now, why the piss does that exist? Forgive my language here, but this is like just my frustration at the design of it here, where I'm sitting, like I'm literally looking at it going, wow, again, the best of one design philosophy wrecks fucking something that's loved and established. Why the hell would we ever play a Feroz God if it can just get exiled by a standard ass green disenchant now because we've got to pay to the best of one thing? Right. So these last two games here, now I've had my little rant, are going to be the main reason why I'm going to probably do Timeless every couple of weeks. I tried to play a ton of Timeless, but this was honestly what I got most of the time. Like, I ran into Zoo and ran into a couple of cool brews, but I ran into like Blue-Red. When I started recording, half my videos were like this, where people just drop from the games. Like, they didn't get the perfect start or the Storm deck. Like, there's the Necropotence deck I've run into. Yeah, they just drop out because like they don't like that there's Uro in the format. Or we get an opponent here who we played before who was, what was he playing? He was playing a control deck and he just didn't, I guess he didn't like Uro because he didn't have an answer to Uro. So when we ran into him again like this, he just timed out. So I'm going to resist Timeless. I'm going to casually play it, but I'll probably do a video every couple of weeks. I like that the format's evolving, that we're seeing more diverse decks. We've got like Zoo coming through now. I've seen Death and Taxes make a good resurgence. There's been still some blue-red Delver decks. People are really tightening up those lists. They're going more for the Delver than they're going for the Phoenix. What else is there? And yeah, we've seen some crazy fun stuff. Like, I've seen a guy that was just, I don't know what he was playing. He was Mono Black Storm, Necropotence, tons of other things like that. But yes, that is the state of, well, this is the state of Timeless right now. It's fun, it's evolving, but there's a lot of salty players, I think, that don't truly grasp how absurdly strong this format is. And you can't just come in with your casual, non-tuned pile. But aside from that, it's been really fun. I hope you enjoyed the video.